everyone. We are here on an episode of Fixins and Friends. My name is Jana Tucker, and I'm with all the Fixins. I have a food shop in Twin City and Swainsboro, and we have just enjoyed interviewing other community members and business owners around the Twin City and Swainsboro areas to learn a little bit more about their business and how we as a community can support them. So here I have DJ and Bree Davis. Welcome, guys.
Thank you
for joining us.
Glad to be here. Glad you guys are doing this.
Thank you. We're excited. So they are with the Central Georgia Clinic of Chiropractic. So it's Dr. Davis. He's the chiropractor. And Bree is his supportive wife who manages the family and the business stuff and all sorts of things that go on behind the scenes. So we just wanted to introduce you guys to them. I'm actually a patient of Dr. Davis, so he has definitely helped me, which we'll go into that a little bit later. But we wanted to just introduce them to you guys and learn a little bit more about them. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and I guess tell us about where y'all are originally from, like maybe how you guys ended up in Swainsboro and opening this business. So
Sure.
Just tell us your story.
It's been a journey, but we're originally from Claremont, Florida, and around Florida, as you know, anything that's there is growing, developing, and I went to college all over the state. I was actually practicing in Clearwater, Florida, and we both looked at each other one day and said, we've had enough of the rat race. I've always wanted to raise a family in a small town, a small southern town in Georgia. And she looked at me, she's like, well, I never told you, but I do too. So we got out and started looking around, and I couldn't be far from the coast, being I am a Florida boy, but we came to Swainsboro and just fell in love with it. It was the hospitality, the feel of the town. It was just, we prayed long and hard about it, and we were really led to come, and we took the leap of faith. We have 4 kids now. Callie, our daughter, she was 6 weeks old when we moved. We knew nobody, no family around. I mean, yeah, we have family in Florida, but no family here to really help us support.
7 years to the day.
And yeah, it
January
was
25th is when we closed on our house with Mr. McNeely.
Yep. So it was sink or swim, and really we this practice was a vacant building for about 3-4 years. So we had a lot of work to do in here. It was remodeled about 90%. We had to remodel the home, and it was just. Mr. McNeil looked us in the eye and said, if you can make it through this year of marriage, you're going to do just fine. But no, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to be here in Swainsboro.
What inspired you to go into this field to start with?
Well, when I was 14, I was playing varsity football, and I had basically hyperextend my back and got hit at the same time. So I had a fractured spine, a fractured vertebrae. And I was told by one doctor, he said, you'll never play again. Hang up the cleats, you're done. And I didn't like that opinion, so I went to another doc. He had kind of spoke to the team saying, hey, if you guys ever injured and need help, and I was like, well, let's try him. And he was a chiropractor. I thought my parents were nuts for bringing me there. I was like, what am I doing at a chiropractor's office? This is crazy. He's not going to be able to help. And sure enough, he said, if you follow what I do, I'll have you back out on the field again. And I said, hey, this is my only shot, my only hope. So, and sure enough, 6 months later, I was fully rehabbed, back out on the field, playing better, doing better than I ever had. So it really gave me freedom, and that freedom is inspiring. You know, he kind of looked at me and said, "What's the difference you see in my office, the chiropractor, that what you don't see everywhere else?" I was like, "People here are happy. They literally leave here smiling. They're all in a good mood." And he was like, "Right." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "I guess they're empowered." They realize that they can heal, they can overcome things.
Right.
They don't have to be relying on a surgery or drugs, and there's a better way or better approach to do it naturally. And for me, that's through a lot of stubbornness. And I started school actually construction management, and just one door closed after another, and here I was. I did a complete 180 and came out of school a doctor. So.
Right. That's interesting. Now, what about you, Bree? Did you know about chiropractic work before you met him?
My mom is very medically minded. I'm pretty sure that, like, down to the day I was supposed to be at the doctor, she was probably there, like, the day before. And I, she did what she could. And my mom has really had a turnaround, because now, I mean, she's probably one of his biggest patients. She was just here, actually, before we did this. She was, like, pulling out when you were pulling in. So, no, and that was something that I did not grow up doing, but once I started once I started dating him, I had a lot of stomach trouble and a lot of different health issues, and I started dating him. He's like, I want you to see a chiropractor. And I started seeing, I don't believe it was the same chiropractor that he saw when he had his issues.
Same practice, but that was back in Claremont.
And I started seeing him, and I was like, you know what, I had a really limited diet before I was under the chiropractor's care. And then I was like, hey, I can eat a lot of different stuff, and I started seeing it with my own two eyes. And
the things that you couldn't eat before, you could eat,
right?
And it wouldn't,
right. And so I coming from my mom, if my stomach was hurting, she'd just be like, hey, take a Tums, or like whatever. Ate it. Let's eat it. We're gonna eat it. Put a Band-Aid on it, instead of saying like, what's the actual cause? And then once I started seeing a chiropractor, then I could eat what I wanted.
Right.
Yeah, she actually had her gallbladder removed at 17, and that's when I was like, okay, I didn't know her then, but I was like, we got to do something different. We can't just keep removing parts, expecting the problem to get better. So, yeah, she was like 5 food groups. If she ate outside of that 5, it was done and over. She was sick to her stomach. It was, so.
And there's been a lot of things since that every time I'm like, man, like, sure, I could just take an allergy pill one day if I'm sneezing, because we have German Shepherds, and I am very allergic to them both. And along the way, he's like, no, honey, you need to stay consistently under care. And then when I'm like, okay, I know I do, and then when I do, I'm like, okay, I don't need to take an allergy medication because I want to hug my dog,
Right.
So there's still little things that kind of check me too. So and our kids were one of the biggest ones. We had an OBGYN tell us that after our second child, we would not be able to have any more children without using like IVF or something. And he put me under a rigorous plan. He did all my blood work, my food sensitivity testing, and he was like, nope, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take these supplements. You're going to be under care. And since then, we've had 2 healthy full-term pregnancies that amounted into our little baby boys. So
that's amazing. Yeah. And so, and I know there's lots of other stories out there like that. Like, hey, you don't really know until you experience it yourself, And for me, I was struggling with neck pain. Like, I would have a crick in my neck, like they say, for like every month or so. I would do something off, like whether it was one day, what really did it was my little girl wanted me to race with her in the yard, and I ended up running, and then something happened to my neck, and I was down for like 3 or 4 days. And Bree and I know each other from mom's group, so I would text Bree, and I knew what her husband did, and I was like, what should I do? Is it my pillow? Should I get a different pillow?
I was the first night.
And she's probably like, oh gosh.
I asked Christina, I don't think it's your pillow, girlfriend.
So after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And so I came in, and you said that I had experienced some sort of trauma at some point based on the x-ray, and I was like, well, yeah, I was in a fender bender, and then I also was in on a knee board at the lake, and just like basically plummeted to the bottom of the lake. My whole family like still picks on me for that, but I was hurting for a week after that, and so it lined up with about 10 years prior, and so I started seeing Dr. Davis on a weekly basis at first, and then, or even 2 times a week, I think. And then, it's definitely one of those things, like you don't have to go that often. It's one of those things where, it's a commitment at first, and you definitely have to like say, okay, I'm going to do this. But like, what did I have to lose? Like, I didn't want to hurt anymore, and so I'm like, might as well, And so then I really haven't had anything like that happen again,
Awesome.
Except for a few times when I'm working out and I haven't been, and I'm like, oh, it's been probably 3 months since I've been. That's my problem. I need to be more regular about it. So at this point, I do it about basically every 3 weeks or so. I'm kind of on a maintenance, care.
Wellness care.
So tell me a little bit about what's different about you and your way of approaching it versus other chiropractors. So I know you call it upper cervical care, and so tell them kind of in layman's terms like what that means and how you're different from maybe other chiropractors.
So basically it's finding the most important area of the body. So the closer you get to the brain, the more powerful it is. Like if you had a spinal injury here, what would you lose power to? everything, right? You have one in the lower back, unfortunately lose it to the legs.
Okay.
So the higher you go or closer to the brain, the more powerful or influential the area. So a lot of times, just as you said, I can't tell you how many times, generally trauma, or it can even be birth trauma. A C-section can be traumatic to the baby. It can all start there. So a lot of people have traumas, knee boarding accidents. They think, oh, I'm young, I didn't break anything, I'm fine. 3, 4, 5 years later, like, I have headaches. Oh my gosh, my gut's off. Oh, these things start to add up. So that's really when it starts, is when there's trauma or not taken care of. So the body tries to heal, but it just doesn't have the when the stress is stuck on, that's where the body's just in a vicious cycle of trying to do its best, but the message is lost. It's not communicating well. Like, how well, when communication is lost in a relationship, how does it go? So that's where we really, it's not so much what I'm doing. I want to empower every patient to realize, as we get that stress off of the brainstem, off of your nervous system, because the nerves control everything, right? We get that stress or pressure off, then everything starts to work better and heal. And the cool thing is, it's your body's healing. It's not man and their intertwining or pills or meds. It's literally your body healing. So in the beginning, we have to stop that train from going in out of control. And then after that, it's a beautiful life, because we want our patients to come in feeling great. I don't want patients just to come, you've been coming for a while, but I would hate it if you came in every time still in pain, because this isn't pain management. And once you realize that all of those nerves connect your major organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, all of that, even your immune system, once you realize that is better functioning and you're functioning up here, you don't really want to let it go. And I have to live by these principles too. I have to get adjusted. I can't go 2 weeks without being adjusted. Otherwise I get behind or just not doing well. So really it's just about keeping it simple. I want people to understand the gift God gave you within. You have greatness within you, and we realize and plug into that and change some lifestyle habits. Sometimes we'll realize that we can heal. You can get over these things, and you can have a better lifestyle, better life.
And so you adjust with a little, and we'll show you guys on the clip, but like you adjust with a little tiny little thump basically on the
looks
top
like a drill.
part. Right.
It's called a Laney tool.
Yep, it was a doctor way back when, Dr. Cecil Laney. We owe him a lot of gratitude and credit in our profession. They did this all without computers. So he created a device, but it's basically very gentle but very quick. So I don't have to be forceful. And we're very specific with everything that we do. All of the x-rays that we take, or for those that can't take x-rays, such as infants, we have now neurosensory measurements where I can actually pinpoint where that problem is and be able to adjust that with accuracy and precision. And that's what it's about, being specific and precise. Not just cracking every joint that moves because it can.
So for a new patient that wants to schedule, what are your hours? When do you see patients, and how do they schedule? What are the ways that they can schedule in the process?
Well, if you have a lot of questions, I'll be honest, call. That way we can answer any questions you may have. But we are here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 8 to 6. We do take about an hour lunch break. And Tuesdays we're here from 8 to 12. So yeah, we are closed on Fridays.
In our front office, girls, Liz, Caitlin, and Miranda, they can help answer any questions. They can get anybody scheduled, and if they don't have an answer to a question, they will figure it out.
And the girls are always great, and they smile and are so mannerly, and just they help make the environment good around here too.
We have an
really
awesome
fortunate.
team, and I'm thankful for every one of them. It's very hard, as you know, to find a good team these days, but we're blessed. But no, really, it's all the things we do, all the things that I'm able and capable to do, all the accolades. I don't do it for all that, but the ways I'm able to help people, it honestly wouldn't be done without her and taking the family and making sure the kids are taken care of and make sure that they meet all their events. So it's honestly a team effort even at home. And I promise you, I won't be able to do what I do without her.
Yes, it's a team effort. So I appreciate your support of all the Fixins over the years. So and especially since we've come to Swainsboro. So, what are some of your favorite things to get at the shop?
The walking taco. I've been trying to recreate it, and I just can't. So this is another plea.
Okay.
You need it too, right?
Honestly, the paninis, and I love the basic. What got you started was all the pecans.
Chicken salad. really
And I kid you not, you have some Florida people that order from you online. My dad, when he comes, he'll have orders from 5 different people come by your shop and bring them back there.
I gifted so much this year from all
Yeah,
the
the Father's Day gift, that's where it all started.
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
photos.
Yep.
And
That was cool.
yes, when he was just here, and he went by with his best friend, came to visit with him, and he went by and he grabbed several bags. Our kids, however, they have talked me into every Tuesday going to get ice cream before or after our daughter Callie Mae gets out of dance. And sometimes you have strawberry and sometimes you don't, but they have their, their kinds that they like. They like their Superman one and the cake one, and I swear they know what they've got, what you've got on every day.
What about food at home? What do y'all do for meals as a family at home? I know that's hard some days.
Jana, you don't have to call me out like that.
So yeah, she sees you often for the casserole. Yeah, we've realized you just have to cook a bigger portion.
From a standpoint of things that you think the community doesn't know that you want to make sure they do know, any message that you really want to kind of get across for people that are out there wanting to know more about you guys that you don't think they already know?
Sure. Well, really the main thing is there's a lot of people that maybe have tried all the options. Sometimes we are their last resort or last options, and that's our job. We have to educate better, educate more. So even people with horrible neurodegenerative ALS, MS or brain lesions or things like that, with my training, I'm able to help aid them and help our best to get them in their best positions. But also the pediatric side has been amazing. We've saw so many turnarounds. We've had a few that we've saved from transplants. It actually got that serious lack of thrive to, patients that come in, a lot of them have some serious issues on the plate. So a lot of people think you have to have a referral from their doctor, or because we're a specialist now you can't just come in, which is totally not true. You can call in. We're open to serve, yes, from the infants to our oldest patient was 95. We're really a family-based practice, and that does go for the entire family, from grandma to the newborn baby.
Anything new coming up that you want to get the word out about? Any events or any announcements that you feel like this would be a good time to share?
Well, she's excited about
I am so
it.
excited. I really am excited. We have a massage therapist coming on. She'll be starting in the middle to the end of the month, and we are she's going to be here a couple days a week, and she will definitely get her use.
As she builds up, she's looking to come full time. So we're going to get her there. But yeah, we're excited about that.
So would you recommend patients coming in just for that, or like a combination of both, like care and massages?
No, by all means, they're allowed to come in and or more than able to come in and have a massage. I know that it'll work hand in hand with what we do. So if there's any needs that we could help them with, then we're going to work as a team. And we're also seeing a cool turnout. We have once a month we're having a workshop here at the office where we're actually feeding people and make it a night event. But basically, Perfect Storm class has been a huge takeoff to help a lot of the pediatric moms. Their questions with sensory processing disorders and all these different things.
ADD, ADHD. Learning disorders.
Colic, ear infections.
I think the next one is on the 28th.
Yep, it'll be the last Tuesday of every month we'll be here.
For a new patient that doesn't know much about the process, kind of explain to them, because you might be hurting. Like I remember I was hurting, and I really wanted. It's like we all want that immediate relief. But you don't rush into, hey, let's just adjust you really quick.
You can't build a house without a blueprint. I wouldn't want any doctor going in and doing anything invasive without knowing what's there. So that's where I have to get to. Yes, we have a conversation. We talk about everything. That way I know the full history. And then we have to dive in to find what's the root, what's the cause of these issues. And generally, we have a pretty invasive examination. Then we have the x-rays to know. If we don't have the x-rays, such as for infants, now we have the system to scan. It's measuring 3 different systems, and it puts it into different categories and shows exactly where the problems are. But from there, it's that if I can adjust you and I can notice a difference and see a change, it's not going to heal overnight. But if I can see a change, then if I can help you, we'll lay out a plan to let you know what it'll take, how long it'll take. I mean, feeling great, leave feeling great. Awesome.
Thank you.